Okay, so for the font of Lotus Flower Bakery, let's go back to Google Fonts. And I think I found something similar to what we had on the logo. So I'm going to bring this to the project by adding it on HTML side. And let's go ahead and try this one for our header H1. So header H1 is going to follow font family Delta Gothic 1, and I will put a sans serif as a default after. Let's test it. Okay. It's a bit too big. I should reduce the size and the font weight, and of course I need to make everything uppercase. So let's go ahead and make all of those changes. So the plan is to make it look more like the font and style that we have on the logo as much as possible. Let's reduce the font weight a little bit and change everything to per case. Okay, this looks a little bit closer now. Let's reduce the font size. Okay, maybe we reduced it a bit too much. Let's bring it back up a little bit. Maybe 2 EM. Oh, 2 is too big. Okay, so and 0.8 is too small. So let's go with 1.2. Okay, much better. Now, another thing we want to do is to push the buttons to the right, make them also a little bit smaller. And one way to do that is to make sure that my two elements, header H1 and header nav, that we are making display inline block are also in the center of the header. So for the header, I'm going to add a text-align center, which is the parent of those two elements, and the parents will determine the position of those children. Let's do that. You should see that they come closer to the center now. Now we can push them away from each other by adding a little bit more width. So instead of 40%, we can go to 45% here. Push them away from each other a little bit. Beautiful. So the buttons are further away from this. And maybe we can make the internal H1 here text align left. Push this one a little bit to the left. And beautiful. And then work on the size of these buttons a little bit. Maybe make the buttons paddings a little bit different, make them smaller in general as well. Padding is less now. Font size. Let's go with 1. Try one more time. Okay, everything is much better now on the top. So we do have the title on the top left. We do have the navigation buttons on the top right. We have the logo in the center with a fancy curved line, which I think it would be a good idea to make a little bit thicker now. When we started, we gave it a 5 pixel, I believe, solid. Let's double that. And I was thinking maybe I want to experiment with the color of this slogan we had over there too. Now that we have tried the goldenrod on multiple locations, maybe it will make the whole design a little bit more beautiful. Let's take a look. Okay, now look at that. So this line is thicker than before. We have the slogan in the golden color. And when you scroll down, you get to different background, nice transition, beautiful contrast, and then there's the footer. Okay, how's that for a version 1 of a web page for this company, starting from scratch? You remember the first video when we added the first H1 and the P tag, and I told you it was the ugliest possible website and it didn't look like a website. What do you think about it now? Does it look more like a beautiful website now? And we just added HTML and CSS to the whole thing. We haven't even added JavaScript yet, which we are going to do to add even more features to the front end of this web page and make it more beautiful. So I believe this is a good version 1 for the homepage of our Lotus Flower Bakery website.